Hello, it's me again. I'm still here sitting at the same place in my room with my chakra cloth behind me. I've had it since I was 20, so it's been almost 30 years that I've been having this beautiful chakra cloth. Anyhow, I felt it's important to also mention how the NSA has been founded. Namely, in the Second World War, they did a lot of experiments on humans, on Jewish and disabled people, on gays and lesbians and what have you. Everybody that was not part of the norm would have, had it had a big chance to go to the the concentration camps and you know to undergo all these crazy and sad experiments that very often ended fatally. um, and of course the big doctors, they had to go to the Nuremberg trials, but their assistant doctors, they slipped through that, and they were basically shipped to the States to found the NSA. So the NSA has been founded by Nazi doctors and people that were really cruel to people before. And of course they did more testings on people, not very openly, but undercover. And one guy who worked for the NSA as well, his name was Sinclair Aquai. He brought a case to court, um, because he reported he is a whistleblower who reported that the NSA would track electromagnetic information from the civilians, from the people, basically, in order to, well, be on top of everything. And I think this is something that, like we in Germany, we have Axel Springer Press and we have Gruner and Jahr Press, and, it's all one and the same Zionistic stuff press, kind of, that would never, ever, ever report about those kind of themes because it's too uncomfortable for the journalists to be um, whistleblowers themselves, I guess. They wouldn't make the same amount of money afterwards, that's for sure. Well, like, it's actually not so funny because it's also depriving us from being in the picture, in the bigger picture, and knowing the real truth about, what's going on this planet. And one of the things that is really going on is that we are being tracked not only by emails, not only on our phones or WhatsApp and what have you. They are really reading our minds. And it's very simple. We have a planet that has a North Pole and a South Pole, and that already creates an electromagnetic field. And then in our brain, there's a whole lot of magnesia. Yeah, our brain consists of mainly magnesium, so we are made for telepathy and electromagnetic readings. And I spoke about me being attacked by satellite technology, being on the rally, and being opposed Israel in my kidney area. And, just imagine if they can track me down in the middle of thousands of people and attack me because I said, "Woo, you got nerves to stand there." Then they can also do other things with you and track you. You know, don't live in a fairy tale world where you doubt that you are not being tracked in your thoughts, and and you know, you're being manipulated as well. You know, if you wonder why you have this BMW calling, you know, that could be the reason why. Or if you feel like you are totally happy with that Netflix series, it's your favorite series, and you know, distraction is a great way of manipulating you, because once you're distracted and you don't have much of an own will, you're easy for government, and the government wants you to be easy. That's why they are not opposed to you eating heavy things, fast food things that will really make you way more, will make you a little bit more easy, a little bit more comfy. You know, I mean, um, by the end of the day, it's the easiest to steer us like little rabbits on a leash, right? Um, I today I heard for the first time I heard the expression rope bunny. I never heard that expression. We actually have that expression in German as well. It's Seilhase, and that means that you like to be pampered, or you like to be captivated. You know, you want to be entertained, basically. Yeah, be entertained, and you're not opposed to let yourself trap or trap into some kind of trap, because you are a good person, you work, you do everything that's being asked from you. You like to also do the aesthetics and the physical things and stuff. You know, being a rope bunny basically means that we are easy targets because we don't object much, and yeah, we're easy with everything that's being fed to us. So, but you know, I'm basically making an apparel here, because I feel going the easy way is not necessarily the best way for us as a human race, because the more they have us on the leash, the shorter the leash will get with the time, right? And and I mean, there are so many reasons why we have to take responsibility for the next generations that will maybe not have the chance to even ask for a democracy. Yeah, I mean, we are already at a time where we could have democracy through the internet, right? But because nobody's asking for it, the internet is not our platform for democracy, but it could be, right? I mean, like, knowing that they can track you down and connect to your electromagnetic field, your aura, if you want so. It's your aura. You have an electromagnetic field that's your aura. And in this whole North Pole, South Pole thing, it's so easy to track you and your thoughts and manipulate you. It's important for us to actually ask for politicians that we can read, you know, that are open, that are as much in a glass house as we are in a glass house, right? I don't know a thing about the politicians that we have here in Germany. I don't know who their sponsors are. I don't know what their real true um, motor is. You know, I think it's important for us to actually question that. Are these people that rule us, do they have good intentions? I mean, like, did Merkel really have good intentions for the German nation? It doesn't seem so after all, now that she's gone, we have the Ukrainian war, we are being sold even more so to the United States. In one of the elections there was one guy waving a German flag. She came up to him and said, "No, we cannot have the German flag here." Even though they won the elections, and that guy was, I mean, like, he was not a racist guy. He was just waving the German flag. What's wrong with that? I mean, there's many reasons to be proud of being German, um, nonetheless, because of Mozart. I think he's German. He's not Austrian. He's German. And Goethe, yeah, or Kant and Fichte. I mean, so many great thoughts come from Germany, and we are a very good nation. I'm not trying to promote Germany now, but I'm just saying, they belittle Germany, even though they've been put through all that guilt trip kind of thing, and I think it's not fair because Germany has always been a great country. And it's important to feel kind of a national pride. Um, and Germany, in German, it means Deutschland, yeah. Deuten means to, what is the English word for deuten? To, oh my God, I thought I was so smart, but I'm not. Deuten means that you're making what's the word for deuten? Hello, can somebody please answer me? Usually I always hear voices, but when I ask them anything, they would not answer me, even though they could just research it pretty quick. So deuten means predict, yeah. Predict, or is there another word for deuten? Well, but Deutschland means, actually, it is a country from where out everything can be explained in a very simple way, I think. Because it is an Indo-Germanic language. That means we also have like an Indian heritage. And that is important for us to know because certain things will just take place from Germany because it is the Central European country. It is a Central European country in that aspect that we have all the neighbors around us that one can wish for. Not at like Portugal, for example. They only have one neighbor, that is Spain. Spain has two neighbors, well, three. That is France, Portugal, and Andorra. But I mean, no other country has as many neighbors as Germany does. And so it is important to see that privileged standing that Germany takes in the world peace movement, because on the one hand, people are very humble here. I think some of them are arrogant, but you will always find arrogant people, even in Tibet, I guess. But most of the people here are really, they are, yeah, they are very busy, workaholic kind of laborers. They do things with a very precise, immaculate passion, or if you don't want to use the word passion, then with with a distinct, meticulous precision, let's put it that way, where where you can actually see that 60% of all warships and of all yachts come from Germany. 60%. And that is because the German yachts and the German warships are like the Maybach, in comparison to the Dutch ships, for example, yachts. They're more like a Mercedes. That's how the rich people explained it to me. Um, yeah, and that is because, if you press that button, it will do what it is supposed to do. In other countries, with the warships, you will not know if this button will actually do what it should do. But nevertheless, I think we should just get rid of all the warships, and we should just start making these warships youth ships, youth freedom ships, in order to have young people meet each other from all over the world on one ship and go to countries that need a build up, and I think that would be very, very, very good for a lot of young people that do not know what they're here for, um, and also I mean, like, speaking more than one language will definitely be good for your social skills, and meeting people from other countries as a young person will totally erase future racistic thinking. I think that is very important because there is still racism. Even, I mean, like, when I go to South Africa and I cross the street in Cape Town or Muizenberg, the black dudes, they will go on the gas because they think I'm a whitey and they have to show me who the real masters are. Um, but when I lived in South Africa in 1999 to 2000, Nelson Mandela was still the president, and there was the big Rainbow Nation hope. Back in the days, things seemed to really work out perfectly for a non-apartheid thinking. Now it's the other way around. Now it's like, it's the whiteys that really owe a lot of um, real estate, and of course they have usually more than one car in their families, while as the black people, if I may say that, the black South African people, they struggle to actually have a house and stuff, especially in Cape Town. It's a different story in Joburg. In Joburg, it's a lot more mixed, which I really like a lot, but I do not like the high walls around the buildings in Joburg. Hence, I never go to Joburg. But being in Cape Town, there is still a big, well, there is a big gap between the the whiteys and the blackies, and status-wise, it's far away from the two statuses to become one. But I do see a hope in the South African flag. It looks like a Y that is horizontal, right? Like a Y. And I think it's the two, it's a, oh, I still have color on my hand. It's a lower class and the upper class that will become one. Yeah, that is my hope for South Africa. And with South Africa, I think that will really create a great movement for the entire African countries. And I like to tell African kids that there are some black heroes too. For example, in Marseille, in Corse, and in Sardinia, they have the Moors on their flags because it was the Moors that rescued them. So instead of saying, well, let's not say the N word and yaddy daddy da, of course, if you feel the N word is not a nice thing to say, um, I understand that. But I think instead of going on to the negatives, we should go on the positives and empower black kids and tell them who the black heroes are and were, and that there are countries where the Moors are really being celebrated because they freed other people, and that would give them a much better feeling in their chest and about themselves. Because I really, really, really don't want to see anyone feel awkward because they don't share the same skin color. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? And when I'm in South Africa, suddenly I'm a whitey. But here in Germany, everybody looks at me and they go like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I go like, "I'm from Germany. Actually, from the Danish border. I speak Danish just as well as English and German." "Oh no, I mean like, where's your ancestors come from?" And then I go and say, "Oh, from Palestine." "Oh, and why is your name Aaron then? Isn't that a Hebrew name?" And then I go like, "Yes, it is a Hebrew name. My mom and my dad, they didn't want me to grow up with all that resentments and prejudices, so they gave me a Hebrew name." But I mean like, I wish so much for the future world, for the future generations, to not have all these discussions. I was once on a cruise ship, and I think starting from Puerto Rico or so, and there were like these kids all eating together, and there was like one 10-year-old who went, "I'm not Chinese, I'm American," and also that is something, I think that is quite something to say, because being American is maybe an advantage nowadays, with America having so much power. But then it's also, well, if you really think about Chinese culture, there's a real culture in China. Yeah, they have like the trigrams, they have the feng shui thinking, they have like so many beautiful things that developed during all the dynasties. So instead of putting like putting like the American thing higher than every other nation in the world, that will not help us as a human race, because there is so much to be learned from old Chinese medicine, wisdom, feng shui, qigong, and tai chi, of course. I mean, like, everything should be more wholesome by seeing what the other nation has to offer and what it is that I didn't know yet and that I need to learn from that nation. And of course, there's definitely also things that I can learn from the Israeli, let's say, Hebrew side. For example, from the Kabbalah. I'm sure that there are some real interesting truths in that. And they really know a little about magic and yeah, well, but I mean, having said that, there is something good in every nation, and we can so very much learn from each other if we just listen to each other, if we look into each other's eyes, and if we have a little bit of empathy, right? And if we know and if we trust that God created this planet with all its diversity, because God is a diverse spirit. That's what I believe. Seeing all the different kind of butterflies there are, okay, it would be so boring if we only had yellow butterflies. But no, there's a wide range of butterflies. And so is there a wide range of cultural heritage from different nations. Yeah, well, I'm getting a little tired now, but I wanted to say that it's really important for us to understand that the NSA has some technology that really goes into our electromagnetic fields. It's important for you to understand that you can be tracked only by your electromagnetic field. And that is something that is actually a great advantage because you have an aura. Just imagine having an aura. You know, your aura with your crown chakra reaching many kilometers high into space makes you even bigger than you think you are, right? And having said that, I just want to refer back to my Rainbow Week, which I think we should do from day to day, starting on Tuesday on the first chakra, and then Wednesday, the second chakra, the Chi chakra, the water chakra, then the fire chakra on Thursday, the thunder day, the Jupiter day. Yeah, that is the fire, the ego chakra. And then on Venus Day, on Freya Day, yeah, that's why we call it Friday, because the Nordic goddess is Freya. She's basically the Venus. So the Venus Day, that is here in our heart. And once we are connected with our heart, we are really good, okay? Always be connected to your heart chakra. I think it's very important that the breath that you inhale is being connected with the heart energy once you say something. Okay? It's very important that you don't speak without being connected to your heart chakra. And I remember a quote from Jesus. He said, "Gossip, gossip, evil thing, much unhappiness it brings. If you can't say something nice, don't talk at all," is my advice. So I may be a little too much on that scale of chakras and stuff, but I think it is my reason to be here in this world is to speak about chakras. And I did a chakra movie. It's 93 minutes long. It's called Carpe Diem, Seize the Day. And it's built up on the chakra levels already. But when I moved from New York back to Berlin, I realized that we have the Hallisches Tor, and Hallisches Tor means the port to the big hall, and the big hall is the Wheel of Light Hall, and that is in Berlin, and it's the navel of the 8 elements, namely earth, water, fire, of course, wind, air, yeah, and then you have thunder. That is a communication thing. Thunder. On the Saturday, we are connected with our communication. It's basically the Sabbath, and that should make us think: who celebrates on Saturday? Those that really need to think of everything they say is connected to the heart chakra, and if it's connected to truth, yeah, because truth has to become more important. And once we're back to telepathy, which is not very unlikely for us to do on a technological basis in the near future, because I can feel it from the voices that are on me, and I hear them all the time. They are already using this technology to guide me in a sometimes very irritating way, but sometimes also in a very loving and caring way. Well, more caring for the future of our tribes then for me. It seems they don't have any mercy with me at all. They are always on top of me. But just to finish it, on Saturday we are in our communication chakra, and on Sunday we're here in our dark forehead, where we can see our third eye open by thinking of the sun, by just imagining the sun hitting the light here. Wow, what an image. It will help you tremendously to open up your third eye chakra. And on Monday, you're connected with the moon. And the moon should be your satellite as a connection to the cosmic principles, to the cosmic connection. Yeah, it's basically your connection. It's your satellite, the moon on Monday. It's your satellite to be connected with heaven again. And these 8 elements consists of heaven and earth and everything in between. So that is something that I needed to speak with you about. I hope in the future kids in the kindergarten, they will already get dressed accordingly to the days and their chakras when they go to the kindergarten. And then you will see it's so easy to erase the thought of having to beat each other and kill each other and stab each other and steal from each other. Yeah, we have to overcome this. We have to become a really wise, hearty, good nation, and race, a human race that is very good willing and sweet. Yeah, that would be lovely. And as long as we have hope, there is so much more to win. Okay? Have a great night. Thank you for listening.